Are you tired of hitting the ball in the net? Every time you go on court, you net the ball, you can't get it over in net, you lose points. Guys, if you guys stay tuned for this whole video, we're going to give you tips and tricks to keep the ball out of the net, okay? So let's get started. So the number one thing that you guys have to think if you guys want to get the ball out of the net is what? What do we have here on Earth? We have gravity. Too many players do not use gravity to their advantage, okay? What I mean by that, and you guys probably already know this, right? But if I hit this ball super high up in the air, where's that ball gonna go? It's gonna dive in. Did you guys see how high that was? Let's try one more. So I'm gonna hit it super high. It's still going to dip in. Too many players, what they do is they try to go so low over the net. That's too low percentage, okay? You wanna make sure that you hit some height on the ball. The more height that you can hit, the less chance you have of getting it in the net, okay? Also, another thing is if you play a good player, if you're probably 4-0, 4-5 or above, if you hit a really good shot and it's low, your opponent's just gonna run around and smack it to the other side. Hopefully not out like that, or hopefully in your favor, right? But if you are playing someone, right, and you could get some height on the ball, what's that going to do to your opponent if you get height? It's going to, the ball's going to bounce. Pretend I hit a super high ball to myself, right? The ball's going to bounce. I'm going to be moving backward, and I'm going to have a lot of trouble hitting that high ball. I'm going to have a lot of trouble returning that high ball. So if you can keep it deep as well, you're going to hit a more effective shot that's going to put you in a better position. The reason why is because if I have a ball that I have to hit back here, I'm on defense. The closer I get up to the net, I'm on offense, right? So keep your opponent in defense by playing with height, okay? The next thing is, I like to tell all my students this, you need to think of a clock. During my private sessions, I reference a clock all the time with my students. So 12 o'clock's up here, 6 o'clock's down here. Once again, 12 o'clock's up here, 6 o'clock's down here, right? You have to think when you go on court, you are swinging from low to high. You are swinging from 6 to 12. Let me demonstrate. So when I swing, I am going to take the racket back. I'm going to drop. I'm going to be at 6 o'clock, and then I'm going to swing up to 12 o'clock. Once again, I want to swing from 6 to 12, from 6 to 12. I want to keep on swinging up. I want to make sure that I'm swinging low to high every single time. So once again, if you guys are visual learners, if you can visualize a clock and think 6 o'clock's down here, 12 o'clock's up here, and just constantly think you're swinging from 6 to 12. Same thing for the backhand, from 6 to 12. Too many players, they net the ball because they swing from 3 to 9. They try to come around the ball instead of swinging low to high, right? So 12, 6, 3, 9. Too many players, what they do is that they hit and they come around the ball like this. Let me actually demonstrate this for you guys so you guys could see it. So a lot of players, when they struggle with hitting it into the net, it's because they go around the ball. They try to come around the ball. In order to get that ball over the net, you have to make sure you're swinging low to high. You have to lift the ball up. The more you swing low to high, the more the ball is going to get height and you're not going to hit it over the net, okay? Another reason why people hit the ball in the net is because that they don't drop the racket. You'll hear me if you guys check out my other YouTube videos, check out my Instagram, I'll put the link in the description. I tell people, there's 3 steps with the forehand. Number 1, I want to take the racket back. Number 2, I want to drop. And then I want to swing low to high. Too many people skip step number 2. They skip the drop. The drop allows me to lift the ball in the air, right? So I'm going to take my racket back, then I'm going to drop, then I'm going to go low to high. Also, another way you can think is that you're making a C, right? When I take this racket back, that's the top of the C. Then when I drop it, that's the curve of the C. And then I swing over my shoulder. So I'm literally making a C when I hit. But to get back to it, too many players, they forget to drop. So that means they take their racket back, they swing, they're coming on top of the ball, right? Let me have one ball so you guys can see better. So instead of coming on top of the ball, What you should do is you should take the racket back, drop, and you should get under the ball, right? You need to get under the ball. You need to lift the ball up, but instead of getting under the ball by dropping the racket, they just come on top of the ball. And the thing is, right, is if this ball is shoulder height or above, if I come on top of the ball, I still might make it in, okay? But if I have it below my shoulder and I don't drop the racket, the ball is going to go into the net. So you guys have to make sure that you drop the racket. By dropping the racket, it's going to allow you to get under the ball and lift it up, right? So racket back, drop, and up. Racket back, drop, and up. I'm dropping the ball to lift it up in the air, okay? A perfect way, and again, I reference this in my other videos on Instagram. I put the link in the description. How do you drop? By showing your butt cap. So if you guys have trouble with dropping consistently, all you're going to do is when you drop the racket, you're going to point the butt cap to the ball. So I'm going to bring my racket up to the camera so you can see it. So all I'm doing is I'm taking the racket back, pointing the butt cap to the ball, and then I'm swinging. Again, by pointing the butt cap, that's going to allow my racket, you see how my racket's down? The butt cap's pointing to the camera, it's pointing you guys, but my racket's down. It's going to allow me to get under the ball. Watch, if I don't drop the racket, watch. So if I come around the ball, where's the butt cap pointing? The butt cap's pointing at me, right? So if you guys can think about the butt cap, you're going to be able to drop the racket every single time and get under the ball, okay? So just to review, guys, you guys want to play with height. You guys want to play with, use gravity to your advantage, right? The second thing is, you want to make sure that you're swinging low to high. The third thing is you want to drop. You need to lift the ball. You need to get under the ball in order to get it in the court, all right? So guys, if you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comments below. Have a good one, guys, and happy hitting. And keep those balls out of the net.